please tell us about your work with the Interfaith Council.
So the Greater Huntington Beach Interfaith Council, of which I am the president again, I have been in the past and I am again, is made up of both religious leaders and members of religious groups and some community people who don't necessarily even identify with a specific religious group, but who are interested in people of differing backgrounds working together for the betterment of the community. And it grew out of hate crime. This part of the county had, maybe a dozen or so years ago, a pretty serious skinhead problem, and sadly, from a meeting I attended in the city of Santa Ana just a couple of weeks ago, where the regional director of the Anti-Defamation League, Kevin O'Grady, spoke, we still have it. There's a serious problem still of anti-Semitism and anti-other groups, because typically haters are equal opportunity haters. If they hate one group, they usually hate a whole bunch of groups. And as a matter of fact, the hate crime out of which the Interfaith Council grew was not an anti-Semitic incident, it was an anti-black incident, where some group of skinheads very badly beat up a guy because he had the temerity to cross the street while being black. And yeah, let's talk about outreach.
Okay.
Okay, because it has been, very much of my life now.
We have two hypothetical viewers.
Okay.
One is doing well. They're educated, they're busy in their life, they're financially stable, maybe married, maybe not, whatever, socially active, busier than a one-armed paper hanger. And the other one is someone who may not be educated, maybe they're struggling financially, maybe even serially unemployed, and it's all they can do each day to get dinner on the table. Why should either of those people be of service to anything other than their own narrow self-interest?
I'm going to fall back on one of our great teachers, who you will recognize. You may even know where I'm going. He lived in the first century before the time of Jesus. His name was Hillel. And he had many, many, many wise sayings. And one of them, a favorite of mine, is as follows. If I am not for myself, who will be for me? So the first part of his statement says to you, you're right. You must look out for yourself. You must look out for your family. You must look out for your own interests. Because if you don't, who's going to?
No
and
one.
You're really going to be in deep trouble. But that's not his whole sentence. He then has the second part. And the second part is, but if I am only for myself, what am I? That being a human being in the fullest sense means living not solely for oneself, but doing for others, giving to others, because this life is tough, and the only way any of us really will make it through is by reaching out and grabbing a hold of another person and guiding each other out. Okay? I'm going to come back to that guiding each other. The third part of Hillel's statement, if not now, when? In other words, it's not something to be put off till later, till
retirement.
Yeah, exactly. You've got to start right away. I don't really pay all that much attention to what people say when it comes to religion. In other words, the fact that people claim they believe this or claim they don't believe that, my attitude is, don't tell me that. Don't tell me what you believe. I'm going to sit here, I'm going to watch you, I'm going to see what you do. I'm going to know then what you really believe by what you do, which is a kind of a Jewish way of judging things.
So one of our viewers, maybe the two people we talked about, the one who's doing well and the one who's not doing well, they're interested. They'd like a low commitment, non-threatening, service project that they could, get their toes wet. Do you have something you could suggest?
Well, again, since this is, I'm sure the people who are going to see this live in many different places.
Yeah,
They're not all
all
from one particular community. I don't think we can say, oh, and this will fit everywhere. But there are some common human problems that we are facing, and certainly we as a society, and especially today. Things are not good economically. Let's look at the basics. People need to be fed. People need to be housed. People's health needs to be cared for. And so anything that we can do in those areas, I think it's a starting point, because we can't get onto what you might call the higher level kinds of things, that may be very fancy, if people are starving, right? We have to make sure that they're eating.
People are sleeping in a tent in the
right.
cold.
Very distressed at an attitude that I've seen in the last several years, an attitude that looks at others and says, you know what, they don't have health care, too bad. They don't have papers, too bad. They don't have this, they don't have that, they're not us. This kind of isolating other people instead of seeing the common humanity and realizing, guess what? We could easily be in the shoes of the other guy. Maybe we used to be in his shoes, or maybe our parents or our grandparents were. And instead of having this kind of haughty attitude that, well, it doesn't matter, as long as I've got mine, I don't care about them, I find that very disturbing.